You'll notice he no longer suffers delusions of humanity.
Affirmative.
What's up now, you punk chick?
Has editing your content become a burden, or you just don't have the skill set?
I wish I could focus on content production, but post-editing takes so much time and effort.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
We'll look no further. Here at Asylum 99 Studios, I can help you create professional quality videos that will be sure to captivate viewers. With my creativity and skill, along with your content, assets, and ideas, I can bring your vision into the simulation. I offer the following services: video clipping and organization, content creation, VFX, SFX, and motion graphics, intro and outro assets. Requests may be taken upon further discussion. So if you're a content creator, short on time because you're out living your best life, or you wish you could focus all your energy into producing content, reach out to Asylum 99 Studios today.
What are you waiting for?
What am I waiting for? What am I waiting for?
Don't settle for mediocre videos. Hire me as your freelance video editor and create videos that meet your standards. Asylum 99 Studios. Release your creativity.
What's going on with y'all, kinfolk? I'm back again. Some more of the Asylum's experiments. This time we got everybody's favorite president, vice president, Reshma Harris. Back at it again, as only she can. Rambling on about nothing. Well, in this case, it ain't gonna be rambling about nothing. Rambling on about how the government needs you to continue aborting your unborn children. Now, I'm here to warn y'all right now. It's gonna get controversial. And let me be clear about something from the jump of this video. A lot of people are gonna say, Randolph, you don't care about women. It's gonna be the exact opposite. The people that don't care about you are getting ready to run this play on you. So ladies, I want you to still yourselves, hold your emotions in check. Because Rando does step on toes, and I don't care if you got your French tips on. Shouldn't have stuck your toes in this arena up under this door. I wouldn't have had to step on it. So we're gonna go ahead and get to it. And that's for my stance on abortion. If your life's really not in danger, you don't need no abortion. Because as some of y'all know, I've already talked about this subject before. Most of the women getting abortions, and I'm talking about a high percentage, are not in any danger. They're just irresponsible skeezers who don't want to give up their life to take care of the life that they conceived. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get to it.
Vice President Harris toured a Minnesota Planned Parenthood clinic that offers abortion services. It was historic. She's the first vice president to make such a visit.
Already with the BS, and they haven't even cut to the briefing yet. Of course it's historic for a female vice president to be touring the country promoting abortion. Who in their right mind is out here doing that? Who's running around here promoting the murder of unborn children? I'll tell you who. The Cannibal Coven. That's who. That's right. I'm talking to you women. Y'all out here feeding cannibals. What are you talking about, Rando? Well, as the chief has let a lot of y'all know, if you in the tribe, if you ain't in the tribe, I'm about to throw you through a loop, so I hope you're not eating right now. If you're eating a burger, put it down right now.
Let's first be clear.
Because there's a high likelihood that you are eating the corpse of a baby. Okay?
Well, well, well. How the turntables...
Yes, we're gonna take it there. They're slaughtering cows out here in record numbers, but yet you still got burgers on your plate. And when I say slaughtering, they're not slaughtering up the slaughterhouse, they're just killing them so that you can't eat them. Let's continue.
Abortion and reproductive health care rights have been a priority for the Biden administration and their re-election bid since the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade in June 2022.
It's my understanding, right, that Roe v. Wade was overturned because Roe v. Wade was based on a foundation of lies. It got overturned because the woman that was out running around here claiming that she got sexually assaulted, and if my memory serves me correctly, she claimed a ninja did it. Classic. Pasty cake blaming ninjas for their sexual promiscuity to get all this stuff passed. If you, my stance has always been, if you don't want to get pregnant, keep your coochie shut. You tramp. There were many roads you could have taken before you had to go rip a baby out of your uterus, desecrating your womb.
Okay. Take two, as it were.
I done gave you too many chances, baby.
Psyop alert. You heard it right. They fucked up. Take two, as it were. That means that they had to run this twice. Now, what does that tell you? I'm gonna let y'all marinate on that. We're gonna let this witch talk.
Good afternoon, everyone. I first want to thank the governor, Tim Walz, for your leadership, both for this beautiful state, but nationally. You've been a great friend and advisor to the president and me, and thank you for all of that. Congresswoman, I mean, just an extraordinary leader. She is strong, she is powerful, she is committed, and always working on behalf of the people of this state. And I thank you, and thank you for traveling with me to be here today.
It's an honor.
And Mayor, thank you as well.
So before we get into this, I called it a psyop, right? So let's take a look at the set. Let's be clear, that's probably what this is. Yes, it's in the hospital, but they set it up as a set. Look at those posters. It's three of the same poster, plastered all the way down the wall. Fight for reproductive rights. Who's fighting to give birth? It's not a fight. It's a simple biological function and a fact of life. So then you got to go deeper and think, okay, so what are these people?
Request clarification of the term?
Yes, the term, Mr. Wordsworth, you people. You make reference to the state?
I make reference to the state.
Considering a reproductive right. Because when you hear the word reproductive, that means that you're reproducing, that you're having children. Show me the laws that's not letting you have children. Okay? So what that means is reproductive rights is a buzzword to conceal their actual agenda. They're not fighting for your reproductive rights. They're too cowardly to just come out and say they're fighting for abortion rights. So they got to dress it up for the NPC herd, for the bot herd, because they know you're stupid. And they know that you don't understand that words mean things. Okay? Even if the meaning is insinuated or implied. And they are telling you to fight for abortion rights. That's what that sign says. This is the case, I'm gonna tell you, don't believe your lying eyes. Your eyes are lying to you. They're not fighting for reproductive rights. They're fighting for abortion rights. And they're gonna tell you so. Okay? So with that, we're gonna keep going.
Got one that can see.
I heard a lot of stories about your leadership, and I know that you have a lot of support here in the city for the work that you have done. Thank you.
Look at this smiling ass zip coon ass ninja.
How could this have happened?
So many of you have asked, why am I here at this facility in particular? And I will tell you, it is because right now in our country we are facing a very serious health crisis.
Lie number one. Not being able to kill your kids is not a crisis.
And the crisis is affecting
Look at her handler hiding behind the wall.
many, many people in our country, most of whom are frankly silently suffering. After the United States Supreme Court took a constitutional right that had been recognized from the...
Sorry. Y'all saw that foolery going on in the background? They're like, get your dumb ass off the camera, bitch.
people of America, from the women of America. In states around our country, extremists have proposed and passed laws that have denied women access to reproductive health care.
So you're an extremist if you tell women they can't kill their babies. Well, that they can't kill a man's baby that he put in her womb.
And the stories abound. I have heard stories of, and have met with women who had miscarriages in toilets.
Miscarriage and abortion ain't the same thing.
Women who were being denied emergency care because the healthcare providers there at an emergency room were afraid that because of the laws in their state that they could be criminalized, sent to prison for providing health care.
Lie number two, they're not providing health care. They're killing children. That's not health care. See, our feminine counterparts are easily swayed by their emotions, right? They're also swayed by the propensity that they have to want to rebel against men. Because let's be clear here. Abortion is an act of rebellion against the human race. Committing abortion is not in anyone's best interest. If we're killing all the youth, who's going to be here to keep this going? Right? And I don't mean urban society. I mean the species. But when you're marked for extermination, that's not really a big deal, is it?
So I'm here at this healthcare clinic to uplift the work that is happening in Minnesota as an example of what true leadership looks like.
True leadership is letting the population whittle their numbers down so that you have an easier time bringing your goons in here and wiping everybody out. Shit is crazy.
Which is to understand it is only right and fair that people have access to the health care they need, and that they have access to health care in an environment where they are treated with dignity and respect. And please do understand that when we talk about a clinic such as this, it is absolutely about health care and reproductive health care. So everyone get ready for the language.
Let's first be clear.
Uterus.
See how vulgar these people are? Could you imagine me just standing up there on the podium talking about testicles? It's insanity. What's so funny? What's wrong with these sick people?
What's wrong with y'all women? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you?
Look at Dr. Frankenstein in the back. They get excited when they think about orphan children. Okay? Because don't forget who you're dealing with. You're dealing with chrome heads. What's a chrome head, Rando? People who are addicted to real or synthetic adrenochrome.
Super predators.
So of course they're gonna get excited. Their mouths start watering when they think about dead babies. And what they do to the older kids if they didn't catch in the womb.
That part of the body needs a lot of medical care from time to time.
I wonder why. Ladies, let me ask you this. And for the nurse sisters in the room, y'all chime in the comment section. Why is y'all womb so jacked up that they can go around here and legitimately say that we need to abort your baby to save your life? What are they doing to y'all wombs? Is it them chemical tampons y'all sticking up in there? Them pads that you're sealing off your wombs with? You know what I'm saying? Those pills y'all be taking? And I ain't just talking about the birth control pills. I'm talking about all the head meds you crazy women is on. Could that control all the stuff that you put in your scalp and on your face? All that poison pheromones y'all spray all over yourself. Could that have something to do with y'all goddamn reproductive health?
But it's your weak mind, baby, that gets you into trouble.
I know it's unprecedented to put the blame at women's feet, but that's what Rondo did. Because if it's a man's fault, I'm gonna step up to bat and be like, yeah, we fucked up. But women, unfortunately, don't do the same.
Issues like fibroids. We can handle this. Breast cancer screenings. Contraceptive care.
If women were using contraceptives, you wouldn't have such an abortion crisis now, would you?
I didn't think so.
What's the ultimate contraception? Keeping your legs closed.
That is the kind of work that happens here. In addition, of course, to abortion care.
Murder.
So to have laws in states that have caused clinics like this to shut down.
Woe is me, they shut down the murder clinic.
So that women have no access within any reasonable distance of where they live to get this vital care.
Murder's vital care now? See. Is this the precedent we want to set? That the destruction of our own species is okay? And women will come up with 1,000,001 excuses as to why they need to be able to rip a fetus out of their body. And it's really disgusting.
Is necessary to address their health needs and concerns. So again, I say thank you to the governor, the congresswoman, the mayor, and the doctor, and all those who work here, and the staff. This work includes having people here who go out and talk to young people, our young people in high schools. And sadly, in so many places around our country, sex ed is a thing of the past.
Man, this is some bullshit!
Which leaves our young people to learn about their bodies and reproductive systems on social media.
Y'all already know what time it is. It's time to circle back on these punk ass parents.
I done gave you too many chances, baby!
It all leads back to parenting. When I was in school, you know what sexual education was? They told you how your sexual organs worked. They didn't show us porn. They showed you the STDs and the other diseases you can catch from being out here in the streets. They weren't running around promoting abortion. They weren't showing us how to have sex, and they weren't sharing their sexual lives with us. They were teaching you how your sexual reproductive system functions. And that's as far as it went. They also scarred Ninjas for Life, showing us birth, which I don't think any young man needs to see.
I don't need none of it!
No, you don't need to see your child born into this world. Go stand your ass outside. You know why I know you don't need to see your child brought into this world? Because I've seen it twice.
I don't need none of it!
Often with a profound amount of misinformation which leaves them confused about what is happening.
Misinformation such as abortion is reproductive health care and that abortion is healthy when it is not. How can ripping a baby out of your womb be healthy for you? How is that good for your long-term health? You don't think you're going to have womb problems after you rip a baby out of it? You're fucking crazy.
To their own bodies. The work that happens here is about providing assistance to women who do not live in the state of Minnesota, because sadly, this state exists in a neighborhood where laws have been passed to deny people reproductive health care, and so women have to travel here. You know, the majority of women who receive an abortion are mothers.
Okay. Well, I don't have the stats in front of me to prove or disprove that. I got some questions to ask. If you're already a mother, you're already well aware of how reproduction works. If you're a mother, You should actually care about your offspring, shouldn't you? So abortion shouldn't even be crossing your mind. It's quite disgusting. And it's very indicative of those women's character. You gotta travel out of state and go through all this drama because you couldn't contain your hot pocket. And it's a real disgrace.
God help her that she's got affordable child care. If she is working, God help her.
She wouldn't need affordable child care if these women were in their roles and in order with nature. You'd be at home taking care of your own goddamn children, depending on your husband and your fellow sisters that he has around you to help you with that which you cannot complete by yourself. But women are selfish and none too bright. At large, not individually. We're at this point because you people want to be out of order with nature. And there are heavy consequences to pay, as we are learning now.
She's got paid family leave. So she can figure out how is she going to get to the place that will provide her the care she needs. Well, the work that happens in a clinic like this includes answering those questions for someone who might be in great distress, letting her know what is available to her in terms of transportation, in terms of housing or hotel, what is available to her in terms of assistance for her child care needs. So I'll close with this. In this environment, these attacks against an individual's right to make decisions about their own body are outrageous, and in many instances,
you're not making a decision about your body, you're making a decision about somebody else's body, somebody else who's already alive. I don't want to hear that clump of cells bullshit. You fucking witches.
it's just plain old immoral.
How dare you, madam?
Move this man!
We're immoral because we're not letting you slaughter children. Welcome to the fucking asylum.
How dare these elected leaders believe they are in a better position to tell women what they need,
You mean like you're doing right now?
to tell women what is in their best interest.
Like you're doing right now?
We have to be a nation that trusts women.
Controversy incoming. I'm going to exclude all women that were not walking this planet since I've been born. Roughly 3 decades. I was born in the 90s. I've said this before. I don't trust women as far as I can throw them. And in a lot of you women's cases, that ain't gonna be far. And I'm just let that lie right there. This whole, you gotta just trust women, has given rise to women abusing that privilege. Because it is a privilege to just believe you. A privilege that y'all have abused in my lifetime. Over and over and over again. And you continue to do so as I record this video. Women use lying as a survival tactic. And look where it's gotten us. They're up here, lying as a survival tactic so they can keep going out here and doing whatever it is that they want to do, which usually involves sowing chaos and destruction.
And with that, I will introduce this extraordinary healthcare provider and
Extraordinary murderer.
Doctor, please. Thank you. Thank you so much. I have to use my notes, folks.
I have to use my notes, folks. You know what that means? That she's A, an actor, or 2, she's just reading the script that they handed to her to push a political agenda. You have to remember, it's 10/24. It's election season. They're running on you murdering your children. I want you to pay close attention to this witch's eyes. She's reading the entire time. None of that came from her. I don't even think she wrote that script. They handed it to her before this conference.
I'm not used to doing this, so.
I bet you're not.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Sarah Traxler. I'm the Chief Medical Officer here at Planned Parenthood North Central States. I'm a board-certified obstetrician gynecologist with a subspecialty in complex family planning, and I also have my Master's of Science in Health Policy. I am a proud abortion provider.
She's a proud murderer. Y'all just heard her say it. She's a proud murderer. I don't understand what they did to y'all minds to make y'all hear the word abortion and think positively about it. Y'all need to fix that. Y'all need help.
And I'm honored that Vice President Kamala Harris has visited our clinic today. It's a historic moment and one that demonstrates how...
You see how everything's symbolic with these people? It's all grandstanding and virtue signaling, a word I don't use too often. A mental mind game to play with the bot herd.
Critically important access to reproductive health care is to people and their families across the country. So thank you so much for being here today. Thank you. Thank you. After the Dobbs decision a year and a half ago, Minnesota has become a bastion of access for abortion care. But abortion rights are not only a Minnesota issue. It is
Somebody show me where you have the right to kill kids.
A national issue. Our Planned Parenthood has seen a 25% increase in abortions here in Minnesota since Roe was overturned. We've seen nearly 100% increase in patients coming here from outside of our state. This is not by accident. Surrounding states have been limiting and banning abortion, while Minnesota, with the help of our governor, has been increasing access. Since Roe was overturned...
Why do they need abortion so bad? I already mentioned to you that they use it as a food source, but what else are they doing? That's the stuff y'all need to think about. You are an accomplice to crimes against humanity.
I've cared for patients from everywhere, from nearby states like South Dakota and North Dakota and Wisconsin, but from faraway states like Texas, Alabama, Wyoming, Florida, Oklahoma, Missouri, and the list goes on. I've seen patients who've flown from places like Louisiana only to have me tell her that her complex pregnancy condition would keep her from having her abortion here with me.
What kind of medical condition do you have that prevents you from having an abortion? And what I mean by that is, what is so wrong with your womb? What happened to y'all wombs, ladies, that giving birth has become a hazard to your health? Right now, in the past, women used to die during childbirth. I believe that that's a load of propaganda. Because if you were giving birth the way humans were intended to, not in these chop shops y'all call hospitals, you know, you women were gathered around by the sisters of your tribe without men being around. We let y'all handle that. Y'all won't be having these problems, but y'all want to go up into science labs, the chop shops, and just let them have their way with their bodies and jack you up, and then you want to turn around and blame men and how we're stopping you from destroying the race. It's insanity.
Forcing her to continue a dangerous pregnancy because hospital-based care was not available to her in her home state. Traveling to access essential health care can be intimidating and overwhelming. It is not
Baby murder is essential health care?
Not an easy thing to do, as we have all pretended that it is. Like the experience of our patient who traveled from a small rural town and became lost in downtown Minneapolis with a dead cell phone after her flight landed. We were able to get her a Lyft driver, our patient navigators, and she described that Lyft driver as a savior for her. And like our patient, who drove hundreds and hundreds of miles through blizzard conditions just to
Pay close attention to how they're trying to tug at your heartstrings while they sow evil into your heart.
Get her abortion. Our new abortion landscape is difficult. It is dangerous, and it is putting my patients and healthcare providers at severe risk. I've talked to my colleagues practicing in states where abortion is now illegal, and they are unnecessarily struggling with decisions around providing ethical, proper medical care and
Did you see that emphasis?
conflicting with the law. This should never happen.
You're right, it shouldn't be happening because you shouldn't be out here murdering babies.
Thankfully, providing abortion care has gotten less complicated in Minnesota. Here, I'm trusted as a provider and an expert to work with my patients to provide the best care possible. To know that I'm trusted to do my job is a comfort to me, but it should be the standard everywhere. Private medical decisions should be made between patients and their doctors.
Aren't doctors supposed to be saving lives, not taking them? Just an observation.
Without interference from politicians or the protesters standing outside on the street in front of our clinic today.
I thought you people were all about protesting. But once it comes to standing up for the rights of unborn people, y'all got a problem with that. Would y'all be running around here talking about you saving lives? Make it make sense.
You know, I didn't always feel this way. I came to understand bodily autonomy after a long history of being anti-abortion.
So my question is, what changed? If I had to take a guess, and this isn't a fact, I don't know for sure, but if I had to guess, that payola changed her stance on abortion. She got student loans to pay off. She needs that shit. Let's continue.
And having a very distorted point of view about abortion care. It wasn't till a friend told me her abortion story that I came to see the light. After hearing
The light of murdering children.
her, knowing her history, I knew that an abortion was the right choice for her life, for her future, and nobody else's.
Let me ask y'all something. Is a broad's life really worth it if she's just a baby murderer? She didn't say that woman's health was in danger. That woman's worried about her own selfish needs. Women are so selfish to the point that they've literally doomed humanity. Not just with abortion, but with all the other chaos that they get involved in.
And it dawned on me. If she is making the right decision for her life, then there are countless other people who are making the right decision for their lives.
That's a whole lot of skeezers.
And no one should be interfering in that. From that point on, my awakening into understanding bodily autonomy and freedom grew to the point that I am today. Everyone should have the right to access healthcare. Your zip code
It's not healthcare.
shouldn't dictate the care that you can access, your race, your socioeconomic status, none of that should.
And here comes the racial grandstanding. You know it's not a liberal brainwashing event if they don't start throwing race up in there to get you niggers charged up and out here doing the work of Margaret Sanger.
Y'all crazy black women.
Determine it. So in 2024 and beyond, we will keep fighting, we will keep working until we live in a world where everyone can access the care they decide is best for their futures and their bodies and in their own community.
Okay, Doc. Tell me the health benefits of ripping a growing fetus out of the womb. I'll wait.
Thank you.
What the hell you clapping for, Rosalinda? You know your family will disown you.
Mexicans.
We're going to take a couple of questions. And we're going to start with Rochelle from HR.
Hi, Madam Vice President. Why do you think it took so long for a sitting president or vice president to visit an abortion provider? And also, how concerned are you about the 20% vote uncommitted in the Minnesota presidential?
It took so long because murder is illegal.
Primary.
Well, I'll tell you, the reason I'm here is because this is a healthcare crisis.
To promote murder.
And I think that of the many stories that we can tell, Of the many stories that we need to tell about what has
Choke that bitch, ancestors. I know what y'all doing. Choke that bitch.
happened after the Dobbs decision. One of them is that part of this healthcare crisis is the clinics like this that have had to shut down.
Good.
And what that has meant to leave no options with any reasonable
How about not spreading the coochie around the streets?
geographic area for so many women who need this essential care. And again, it runs the gamut of reproductive health care. So yes, it is abortion care. It is also, as I mentioned earlier, essential and critical reproductive health.
Which one is it? It can't be both. But you see a similar tactic. They're switching from reproductive care to abortion rights. The same way they switch from nigga, African American, to black. That's not what this is about, but it's an example of the same tactic. They just switched up the subject.
They're like PAPs, like breast cancer screenings, things of that nature. So I'm here to highlight that of the many, I believe, potentially intended consequences of the Dobbs decision, one of them has been for healthcare providers such as this in the states that have banned or outlawed access to reproductive care, state clinics like this to shut down. And it's a travesty. It's a travesty.
It's a travesty to shut down the chop shop. Crazy.
Madam Vice President,
You being in my ancestors' grand buildings, holding a title as a foreigner, is the travesty here. Action.
Our next question, Madam Vice President Darlene, right to your left, the AP.
Hi, thank you. We were not able to go with you on a tour, obviously. Can you give us a sense of what you saw back there and also what you learned by coming here today?
Well, what I
She saw a murder scene.
saw were, I don't know, maybe 24 healthcare workers who really care about their patients.
They care so much that they want to kill their children.
And who understand that in the healthcare delivery system, regardless of your gender or your healthcare need, I think we should all expect, and certainly we all desire, that you would be treated with dignity. And you'll be treated in an environment where you feel safe. And by that, I mean safe to be free from judgment.
Don't judge me for being a lazy skeezer. Don't judge me for being a murderer.
To be in an environment where you are actually and really listened to. Where your needs and your expression of your needs are taken seriously. And walking through this clinic, that's what I saw. Are people who have dedicated their lives to the profession of providing health care.
People who dedicated their lives to the profession of experimentation and murder.
In a safe place that gives people dignity. And I think we should all want that for each other.
Thank you, Vice President. We're going to go to Nick at the New York Times.
Madam Vice President, what do you see as your role on this issue, given that the administration has run up to the limit of what it can do to protect abortion rights, and Congress is unlikely to pass a bill codifying them?
Well, Congress will pass that bill when we win back the House. And so,
if that doesn't tell you that this is all political, I don't know what is.
I am sure of that, and I think that one of the points that must be made on this issue as we attempt to uplift the real stories and the real consequences of the Dobbs decision is to remind people elections matter. Elections matter. What happened here in
They matter so much, these niggas gotta cheat.
Minnesota with the re-election of the governor and
They gotta cheat in a rigged election.
the turning of the state legislature is what has led to ensuring that these fundamental rights are intact and are protected. Elections matter. And let me be very clear about this. When it comes to national elections and who sits in the United States Congress on this, there's a fundamental point on this issue that I think most people agree with, which is that one does not have to abandon their faith or deeply held beliefs to agree the government should not be telling women what to do with their body.
So then shut your goddamn mouth.
Man, this is some bullshit! Boo this man!
If she chooses, she will consult with her priest, her pastor, her rabbi, her imam.
any of those clergymen telling women to have an abortion should not be clergy in those religions. Not because I believe in those religions, but because if you're going to say you about something, shouldn't you live by the book? And I'm sure none of those books tell you that you can kill your kid.
But it's not for the government to tell her what she can and cannot do with her own body.
So why are you doing it?
My role is to do what I just did, which is to articulate exactly these points.
To promote baby murder.
And to continue to articulate them and to organize folks.
To organize the procurement of these fetuses for their own consumption.
Around what I know is
and yours.
An issue that is impacting more people than you'll ever really know.
Because these numbers are fudged, or there's just that many skeezers running free.
Who, as I said earlier, are silently suffering. And so we who have the ability to have a bouquet of microphones in front of us, as I do, I take on then the responsibility of uplifting these stories and reminding people with some belief, by the way, when I do it, that the vast majority of Americans do have empathy.
I do not.
And that even if they don't agree that this would be the best decision for them, would agree that other people should not be suffering the way they are.
Stop being a hoe, you won't have to worry about this.
Thank you, Vice President. We have one more question right here from Patricia.
Yes.
Madam Vice President, Roe was always an imperfect vessel.
Because it was a lie. Because of this video, I'm going to do a video on the lie that is Roe v. Wade. It was a psyop. It wasn't true. It got overturned. And now they're fighting to get their baby murdering rights back.
What exactly would you like to see replace it? What form should it take? What should the scope of it be?
What we want is to put back in place the protections that the Supreme Court took away, which is to
You never had the protections in the Supreme Court. Had no business making that ruling.
codify, put into law the protections of Roe v. Wade. That's what we want.
Thank you, Vice President. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thanks. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Well, there you have it, kinfolk. It's not like a lot of y'all didn't know that this agenda was out there, but I just thought I'd bring some light to it during this so-called election season, because a problem in the so-called community, and when I say the so-called community, I'm talking about the indigenous Americans. No, I ain't talking about no natives. I'm talking about ninjas. One of our biggest problems today is the subject we're talking about right now. Planned Parenthood, the legacy of Margaret Sanger. You crazy women will be out here screaming from the rooftops to anybody that will sit there and listen to you cackle that y'all care about the so-called race. Blah, blah, blah. Yet, you turn around, you put niggas in jail, you keep niggas from their kids, and you kill their kids. Not in mass, but there's a lot of y'all doing it, or the numbers wouldn't look the way they look. Rondo don't care about your feelings. You out here murdering babies, I'm gonna tell you. If you don't want babies, you need to conduct yourself in a better manner. Not out here passing the hot pocket around, letting everybody get a bite. And this also goes to another thing I want to get into. Fathers in the homes can prevent a lot of this. I know why a lot of you young women is into this, because y'all was raised by whores. I'm gonna say, I grew up with an absurd amount of whores at a young age. I knew girls that was whoring in elementary school. Now, I don't know how it was for Gen X growing up going through school. I'm from the 90s. I'm a millennial. Whores everywhere in elementary school. On up. Why is that? Lack of fathers. And these mothers was out here running the streets. So what else can they show their daughter but to run the streets? It's a vicious cycle, and it needs to stop. And the only way to stop it is to return to order. You do not have the right to an abortion. You don't want to risk your life in childbirth. Keep your legs closed. Randolph, what about the men that's trying to fuck us? The last time I checked, if a man enters you without consent, that's called rape. But that is not the leading cause of abortion. The vast majority of y'all are just skeezers. And that's the long and short of it. That's the truth. And you want to keep being a skeezer. You don't want responsibility. It's all fun and games until you get knocked up. See, this is what Chief Red be talking about when he says the perversion. This is a perversion. You run around here getting abortion after abortion. You got women that brag about getting abortions. I've had 6 abortions. I've had this many abortions. I've seen it. I can get the clips for you. I can put a compilation together, and I will do just that. I'm gonna go around and find all the women, not all of them, but a good number of videos of women running around marching for abortion, out there screaming vulgarities, running around with simulation blood on white pants and all this other crazy stuff. Okay? So I ain't gonna keep y'all too much longer, but I want to say to the ladies, get your shit together.
You need people like me so you can point your fucking fingers and say, that's the bad guy. So say goodnight to the bad guy. Go on.
I am a human being. I exist.
Delusions, Mr. Wordsworth. Delusions.
Send the word.